Good. Hello, my brothers and sisters. This is a late dinner, so come on in. We're having dinner late tonight. Your brother Tony is at the dinner table. Come on in, come on in, come on in, and sit down at the dinner table. We have plenty of room, and we have plenty of food that's good for the soul. So come on in, my brothers. Come on in, my sister. You going to feast this evening. Go ahead and invite some more family members and friends to the dinner table. Tell them, hey, you need to come and get some of this good food for your soul because it's really going to help you. With that said, my name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about relationship. If this is your first time at the dinner table, that's what I do. I talk about relationship. Am I an expert when it comes to a relationship? Far from it. I'm not an expert, but I know a lot about relationships. And how do I know a lot about relationships? I know a lot about relationship because I know the person that forms the relationship. How you doing, Sister Tanya? Welcome to the dinner table. Sister Parker, and how you doing, brother? A1K, how you doing? Come on in, brothers. Coming in, sister. This is a late dinner tonight. And as I was expounding, not explaining, I talk about relationships. If this is your first time talking, that's what I do here. I talk strictly about relationships. And what type of relationships do I talk about? I talk about relationship from a biblical standpoint. When I say a biblical standpoint, I believe strongly that God created what is called relationships. He had a unique relationship with the man Adam first. He had a unique relationship with the woman Eve. He had a unique relationship with both of them separately. Then he brought them both together. And when God brought them both together, he said, Adam, the man said, in the presence of God, in reference to Eve, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I should call a woman because she came from man. Now, if you believe in any other type of relationship other than that, you have what is called a free will. You do whatever you choose to do because God gave you a free will. However, God's preference is the relationship. When you look at Genesis, the relationship between one man and one woman. He did not bring several women to Adam. He did not bring several men to Eve. He didn't do that. He had one man, one woman. So that's where I come from. So on the menu for tonight, my brothers and sisters, before I get to that, I want to let you know this. I'm on two different platforms. I'm on the book and I'm on the tube. Those of you that are on the book, I may make some comments to those that are on the tube. And likewise, those you on the tube, I may make some comments to those that are on the book. You may not see everything, but I see it. So that's what I would like for you all to know, okay? So with that said, we're going to look at the menu for tonight. And on the menu, we're going to talk about what should you do to save your relationships. That's what we are going to expound on, not explain tonight. What should you do to save your relationship? As you know, my brothers and sisters, when your relationship, even those of you that are about to get into a relationship, just stay with me. When your relationship appears to be coming to an end, and you do a whole bunch of fighting to keep it together. You do whatever it takes to try to keep it together. And everything that you try, it seems to fail and it doesn't work. So that's what we're going to embark on tonight at the dinner table. This topic that we're talking about tonight, my brothers and sisters, this is basically for a whole lot of couples, believe it or not. This is for a whole lot of couples that think that a relationship between a man and a woman is like you in fantasy land. Or to say it differently, there are some men and women that have unrealistic expectations when it comes to a relationship, or it could be a combination of both. That could be this couple that have a fantasy and unrealistic when it comes to being in a relationship. I mean, a good grounded relationship. Now, there are some men and women that think when we get into this relationship, it's going to be smooth selling. That's what a whole lot of people think is going to be smooth selling. But I beg the difference, my brother and sister. There's not one relationship. For those of you that are entertaining getting into a relationship, especially a lot of people that are currently in a serious, committed, and covenant relationship, know the truth. And the truth is, in a relationship, it's not going to be smooth. It's not going to be smooth. Any couple that you see smiling and they're not fronting, they have problems in their relationship. For example, when you all come to the dinner table, you listen to me share some of this soul food with you. But when you look at me and you see my wife, when you see us posting up on social media, and when I talk to you, even though we smile okay, we're smiling on that picture. When you see us on social media, we'll be smiling and stuff. But what you see, we are a couple that are still in progress. We have not made it there yet. We have difficulties. Okay, we have difficulties in our relationship. Why do we have difficulties in our relationship? Because we did not get into a relationship thinking that it was going to be fantasy land, or we did not have unrealistic expectation in a relationship. And that's how all men and women should look at it. When you enter into a relationship, you need to be realistic. Brothers, even when God put a man and woman together, you got to understand, when God bring a man and woman together, God bringing two imperfect people together, but they could be right for one another, but they're imperfect. What do I mean by that? Even if God save a man and God save a woman, you got to understand this, my brother and sister. A man and woman, they have battles within themselves, because a man, he have an internal battle going on with him when it got the soul and the spirit. And a woman have an internal battle going on in her, which is her soul and spirit. So you bringing two imperfect people together. And let me tell you this, my brother and sister, there are two people. You got a friend. Brother, you got a friend. Sister, you got a friend. I have a friend. Cinderella have a friend. And who is that friend? What is a friend, my brother and sister? A friend is someone that's going to be truthful with you. A friend is not going to be one that just dare to say rah, rah, rah to you and try to please you. A friend come to you, and a friend going to be truthful to you, whether it hurts or not. So we got to understand what's the purpose of a friend. Now, I'm going to introduce you, brothers and sisters, to two friends, okay? I'm going to introduce you to two friends that you think you can avoid, but you can't avoid these two friends. Listen to what I'm saying very carefully. When you're in a relationship, you got two friends that you're going to be introduced to. And I know some of you are wondering, Tony, where you going with this? And they are two unwanted friends. What do I mean by unwanted friend? Okay. First, let me describe him to you. And I'm going to describe her to you. So there's a male and there's a female friend that if you're in a relationship, you're going to meet both of them, okay? Now, let me describe him to you. He was, and he is someone that you never thought would come knocking at your door. And not only that, he brought his sister along. Now, who is he? He is called Trouble. and his sister is called Storm. So there's two friends that are going to visit your relationship. The brother called Trouble and the sister that called Storm. Question, my brother and my sister, if you are a believer, Jesus that put you together, my brother and sister, for his reasons, you need to understand this. Jesus gave everybody a clue. Because you see, when it comes to Jesus, Jesus is all about relationships. If you remember the Last Supper, my brother and sister, this is what Jesus said in John 16:33. John 16:33. John 16:33. At the Last Supper, this is what Jesus said. These things I have spoken unto you, that you may have peace. Jesus said you may have peace. But then there's something that people forget what Jesus said. Jesus said something else when he said, you may have peace. He went on to say, in this world, you will have tribulations. Listen to what Jesus said. Jesus said first, you might have peace. And you're going to have peace with the Lord. He got a peace that surpasses all understanding. But Jesus also showed you the flip side of the coin. He said, and in this world, you shall have tribulation. But be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. So, with that said, you brother and you sister, you can have peace individually and especially when you are in a relationship. However, you're going to have tribulations. This is where your friend Trouble and his sister Storm come in. Brother and sister, when it comes to a relationship, you got to understand this. What should you do when you have a problem in your relationship? Do you think better communication will help your relationship? Do you think looking up the zodiac signs could help you in your relationship? Do you think going to a local church could help you in your relationship? Do you think going talking to a counselor could help you in a relationship? Do you think listening to relationship coaches will help you in a relationship? Do you think going to your family? Do you think going to your friends? Do you think going to your coworker and lo and behold, putting it out there on social media, do you really think that's going to happen to you? Or do you just really think you could solve it within yourself, my brother and sister? Let me tell you something, my brother and sister. When it comes to a relationship, no man nor no woman have the answer to when your friends come knocking at their door, called Trouble coming, and he's bringing his sister Storm. It's just a matter of when they're going to knock at your door. Okay, so you got to be realistic when it comes to a relationship, my brother and sister. As a matter of fact, my brother and sister, I got some good news. This is not going to be gloomy. The good news is every relationship can be saved. Listen clearly what I'm saying. Every relationship can be saved. The key to having a saving relationship, my brother and sister, everything that I just listed, those are not the real, that's not the real glue to keep your relationship together. The only way, my brother and sister, you can maintain a strong relationship, you have to build your relationship on a solid rock. You cannot build your relationship on shifting sand. It's all about the foundation in your relationship, my brother and sister. What is the foundation of your relationship? That's the question. What is the foundation of your relationship? The foundation of a relationship, and now we specifically talking about a man and a woman, and on the menu we said, what should you do to save your relationship? It all starts from how you build. Now, how you going to build your relationship? What's your foundation? What's the foundation? A man and a woman must be spiritual driven individuals. They have to have the spirit of the Lord in them. So if a man and a woman have the spirit of the Lord in them, the foundation, how you doing, Sister Bree? Welcome to the dinner table. A man and a woman must have that foundation, and that foundation of how to build a strong relationship, because you're going to run into troubles and storms. It's coming. It's just a matter of when. You're going to have sunny days and you're going to have rainy days. Most couples don't want to face rainy days. But let me tell you something, my brother and sister. When it comes to a relationship, even in life, you need the sun and you need the rain. If you have too much sun, there's going to be a drought. If you have too much water, it's going to be a flood. So you need a balance in the relationship when you're building your house on the foundation. And the foundation, my brother and sister, has to be a rock. And that rock is Jesus himself. Before I go on, can you all see me clearly? If you can see me clearly, let me know. Just put one up there so I can know that you could see me clearly and hear me clearly, because I've been having some technical difficulty these last couple of nights. If you could see me clearly and hear me clearly, just put number 1 down there. If there's a problem, put 0 and give me what the problem is, okay? If you don't mind. If you can see me clearly and hear me clearly, put 1. If you can't hear me or can't see me, put 0 and put what the problem is. Thank you, A1K. Thank you, Bree. Thank you. So let me tell you, thank you all for helping me out. Thank you, lady. Thank you, lady. So welcome to the dinner table. Thank you, Sister Parker. Welcome to the dinner table. Now, when you building on the rock is Jesus. You're in a relationship. A relationship, my brother, and my relationship, sister, is just like you're on, per se, you're getting on a ship, on a cruise. Okay? That's what it is. Nothing happens, my brother and sister, in your relationship. Listen to me carefully. Nothing happens in your relationship when it comes to trouble and when it comes to storms unless God allowed to happen. God sometimes will allow problems and storms into your life. I know some people don't want to hear it. I know some people, they think if they follow in God, that the relationship between a man and a woman are going to be smooth all the time. That's not true. God going to sprinkle in good, and he's going to allow some rough times to come into your relationship. Now, some of you saying, I thought if I follow God, and especially if Jesus is the foundation I put in my relationship, everything going to go smooth. It doesn't work that way, because, brother and sister, you're not in the Garden of Eden. You're not in the Garden of Eden. Now, I'm not trying to discourage no men or women from getting a relationship. You just need to know the reality of a relationship. Sometimes God allow problems and storms to come into your relationship so your relationship can grow. Now, some people say, how can my relationship grow with problems? Because most of the time when things are going well, even Christian men and women, they may forget about God. And they may think it's all about them. But when the God let a little rain come, when he let the wind come, when he let your ship start rocking, that's when a lot of couples, that's when they want to go to the Lord. Using that illustration, let me make 2 points. Let me make 2 points. And keep this in mind. We're talking about trouble and we're talking about storms, okay? The key thing is Jesus is coming and he's here. That's the theme. Jesus is coming and he's here. Let's go back in time, and it's going to parallel to what I'm talking about. I'm going to give you a little story about trouble and storm and how it relates to even a man and woman's relationship, okay? Let's go back in time. First scene. After Jesus had just got finished feeding 5,000 people. That's right, A1K, Dot. After Jesus had got finished feeding about 5,000 people, and his disciple took 12 baskets of bread. Everybody was filled. Jesus fed over 5,000. It was 5,000 men and women and children. It didn't even count the women and children. So it was a whole bunch of them. But after everybody had gotten that free food, that fish sandwich, everybody was filled up. Jesus told his disciples, he said, I want you all to get on a boat and I want you to go down to that lake. I want you to get in the ship and I want you to go over and I'll meet you on the other side. Okay. That's what Jesus told his disciples. Now they probably scratching their head and said, if Jesus telling us to go get in the ship, how he going to get over there? That's what they probably think. But then they probably say, well, if Jesus told us to do something, he must have going to get on another ship or he got a plan. So they all got on the ship. And it was a good day. It was a very good day when they got on the ship. So when Jesus had dismissed everyone, Jesus went up to the mountain to pray. Jesus already knew. Key thing, my brother and sister, Jesus already knew what was going to happen. They didn't know what was going to happen, but just check this out. Jesus is the one that told them to get on that ship and go across. He the one who told them. Jesus already knew what was going to happen. Remember what I said, my brother and sister, nothing happens unless he allowed to happen. God will sometimes place you in a difficult situation, my brother and sister, to grow and depend on him. To grow and depend on him. So they went out and it was smooth, okay? It was smooth. Between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m., that was the darkest time it was. A storm came. Jesus still wasn't there. Jesus was up in the mountain praying, but Jesus had a good perspective of what was going on. Jesus already knew what was going to happen, and he seen what was happening. So the big storm came up, and his disciples, they were in jeopardy. They was despaired, right? A whole bunch of water, that storm came up on them. It was a whole bunch of wind coming. Just imagine a whole bunch of wind coming. It's dark out there. They in the middle of this water, the body of water. So water coming all on the ship, and they trying to throw the water out because they were thinking they were going to sink, right? They were doing all kinds of stuff. They were about to panic, right? If they jump off the ship, they don't know where they was going because it was dark. They didn't know how far they were from land where they just left. They didn't know. So they was in peril. You know, they thought it was over. Where was Jesus? All of a sudden, they seen something that they never seen before. Now, keep in mind, they were in trouble and they were experiencing a storm. They seen something, what they were not prepared for. They thought it was over. They looked and they thought it was a ghost that they seen. That shook them up. All this stuff going. Jesus said, "It is I." A familiar voice. Now they seeing Jesus walking on water. That defies physics. Peter said, "If it's you, Lord, bid me to come out there." Jesus said, "Come." Peter put one foot out, then he put the other one. And that had to surprise him because that defied logic. Peter was actually on water. So the other ones, they were still afraid. Peter was still afraid, yet he was on water. So as long as he was focused on the Lord, even though it was a storm, even though it was dark, even though the wind was blowing, even though the water was coming all up on him, as long as he was focused on the Lord, he was walking on water, he was going directly to the Lord. Out of all that stuff that was happening, what happened, he took his eyes off the Lord. He started paying attention. Listen to this. He started paying attention to the wind, the waves, and all that. Then he started sinking. And when he started sinking, that's when he said, "Lord, save us." Jesus reached out his hand and said, where is your faith?" He picked Peter up by the hand and they both got on the ship. And when they got on the ship, the Bible said the storm immediately ceased and they were where they were supposed to be. Why did I tell you this story? That's right, A1K, distraction. Why did I tell you the story? The reason why I'm telling you the story, the same thing between a man and a woman. In your relationship, brother, in your relationship, sister, you're going to meet those individuals called trouble and storms. You're going to be wondering, you're going to be doing everything just like those disciples did. They were trying to throw the water off the ship that was coming on the ship. You were trying to battle against the wind. It seemed like it was dark. So when your relationship, my brother and sister, darkness represent your relationship seems like it's about to be over. You done tried everything you could, and it looks bleak. But there's hope. You wonder where the Lord is at. The Lord knew those problems, and he know the storms that will come into your relationship, because when God bring you, brother, and you sister together, he did it for a reason. He already knew what was going to happen. Just like when Jesus sent his disciples on that ship, he knew what was going to happen. He knew what he was going to do. They didn't know. You know what they forgot? They had just forgotten that Jesus fed those 5,000 men and fed them too. They forgot about that. That's what a lot of men and women do. They forget about the good time that the Lord gives them in life. They forget about it. How you doing, Sister Teresa or Tom? Welcome to the dinner table. They forgot about it. And that's just like a relationship, my brother and sister. Like sometimes Cinderella and I, we have had problems in our relationship. I have taken my eyes off the Lord. But when I put my eyes back on the Lord, during the storms and trouble in the relationship, he brought it back together because he stepped in. We allow him to step back into the relationship. And when the Lord stepped back in the relationship, the storm ceased. The trouble ceased. And that happens to you, my brother, and you, my sister, too. So when you're in this thing called relationship, SHIP, Jesus is coming. Even though you're going through it, he's still coming. And when he come, that's how your faith grow. You see, through difficult times, my brother and sister, when the Lord come, you can experience, you could thank God for how great he is, because that caused you to grow. Not only good time, but bad time. And then there was another story about a storm. Remember I said, Jesus is coming and he's here. Now, this is a part where Jesus is here. This is something, excuse me, this is something else that happened. There was this other storm that came up. Jesus, at this time, Jesus was not on the mountain praying. Jesus was in the bottom part of the ship. He was asleep. Jesus is here. A storm came up. Another storm came up. They were in peril. The waters came over the ship. It came and they thought they were going to drown. The wind was blowing hard and it was dark again. And they was in despair again. They had just went through one storm and Jesus came. So they had forgot about the other episode when Jesus had fed them the 5,000 the 5,000 men with women and them. And they had forgot about this other storm that they was in, and Jesus came. He stepped onto the ship, and it was instant peace. And they was where they were supposed to be. Because when Jesus stepped on the ship, the storm and everything stopped just like that. Now, this other episode, Jesus was down at the bottom part of the ship. He was asleep. They was panicking. Jesus was on the ship with them. They forgot about it. Jesus was there at peace. He was comfortably sleeping. Out of all that stuff going on, what they forgot was Jesus. Not only did he call himself the Son of Man, Jesus was and is God himself. He's God the Son. Even though Jesus' body was asleep, the God in Jesus was still alive and well. God never goes to sleep. The spiritual part, God never goes to sleep. Jesus was 100% man and he was 100% God, God the Son. So Jesus' body, his humanity was at sleep, but he was still alert. So somebody on the top said, let's go down and wake up Jesus. They ran downstairs and they woke Jesus up. Jesus did not panic. Jesus did not fuss at them or anything. What did Jesus do? Jesus left the bottom part of the ship with them. Jesus walked into the storm again. The rain was hitting Jesus' body. Jesus was feeling the wind. Jesus was with them in the darkness and everything. Jesus said 3 words: peace, be still. When Jesus said, peace, be still, what happened? The storm ceased immediately. The wind stopped blowing. The water stopped coming on the ship. And it was not as dark as it normally would be. And they was where they were supposed to be instantly. So what am I saying? When trouble and his sister Storm shows up, they got nothing on Jesus. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, my brother and sister. Jesus come and he's here. So that's why I'm telling you, my brother and sister, if you are entertaining on getting into a relationship, think about what Jesus did for you before you got into the relationship. If you're already in a relationship and you had good days, think about what Jesus did for you during those good days. Because a storm is coming. It's just a matter of when it's coming. You may have arguments in a relationship, my brother and sister. That's right, Sister Teresa Form. You may have arguments in a relationship. Hopefully you don't have many. You may have sickness in a relationship. Hope you don't have many. Hope you may have death in a relationship. Hopefully not many. You may have a job loss in a relationship. Hopefully not many. Your house may burn down. Hopefully not many. Anything could happen. Like right now, there was this bad storm that crossed the United States. Some people, a whole bunch of snow came out of nowhere. A whole bunch of people, some people died during this time. Some people, their pipes and everything burst. A lot of stuff happened. Chaos. Sometimes it may be what you don't. Now, this is a storm too in a relationship. What it called affair. No, I ain't no call it affair. Adultery. That's a storm. It might come to your relationship. You don't want it. Sometimes it happens. But you got to understand it, my brother and sister, when it comes to a relationship, you cannot stop trouble and you cannot stop a storm. You got to understand it, my brother and sister. You cannot stop trouble from coming to your door and you cannot stop the storm that's coming. The only thing you could do is drop the anchor. And when you drop the anchor, the question is, who is your anchor? How do you think those big ships are able to stay in place out there in the ocean? A big ship, what can stabilize a big ship? It's called an anchor. And when they drop that anchor, it has a long chain on it, a strong chain. Even though the water could be going here and there, tossing the big cruiser, the cruise ship to and fro, it's still really not going nowhere. Even though it be shaking up stuff, it's still not going nowhere because it's anchored. And a lot of time, if you're on a cruise ship, you might be inside the cruise ship and it's a storm out there and you might not even know it. You may sleep through a storm on a cruise and you don't know it, but guess what? The captain is in charge. So when it comes to a relationship, my brother and sister, you must have the ultimate captain on your ship, which is Jesus Christ. Jesus, my brother and sister, he is the only one that can save your relationship. I can't save your relationship. Other men or women can't save your relationship. You got to go to the foundation. You got to be anchored in Jesus the Christ, God's Son. He's the only one that can save your relationship. Some of you're about to end it. You're about to say deuces. Some couple forget the good days that they had in a relationship. When a little storm comes, you think that's a big storm. I'm going to tell you this, my brother and sister. Those of you that are seasoned when it comes to a relationship. Have you noticed this, my brother and sister? When you have trouble and storms in a relationship, at that particular time, it seems like it's big. But when the storm is over and you able to look back, you say, that really wasn't nothing. And you were thinking about abandoning ship. You would think about abandoning ship. But you stayed on the ship. Why would you jump off the ship when it's a storm? It doesn't make no sense, does it? If you're on a cruise ship and a storm coming, why would you jump in the ocean when it's a storm? Isn't it better to stay on the ship if it's a storm and deal with the storm while you're on the ship instead of what is going to profit you to jump off the ship when the storm going to happen? And that's how it is in a relationship. Why you want to abandon ship? Now, I wasn't thinking about this years ago, my brother and sister, okay? I wasn't thinking this way. It comes with maturity. Okay, this comes with maturity. So I'm trying to help you, my brothers, and I'm trying to help you, my sister. Listen up. Good communication does not keep your relationship together. It never did. It never will. I always say good communication is only a byproduct of your relationship with God through his son, Jesus Christ. You see, when you have a good relationship with the Lord, my brother and sister, especially when you're in a relationship, brother, with the woman that God called you to find, and sister, with the man that found you, you need to understand this. You can get through it. You can actually get through a storm in a relationship and it causes problems or trouble. You can get through it. Cause back to what Jesus said at the Last Supper. What did Jesus say at the Last Supper? In John 16:33, 16:33, he said, "These things I have spoken unto you, that in me," see, Jesus telling you, in me, you may have peace. Now, Jesus telling you, in me, that means stay with me, you will have peace. But let me tell you something else. You staying with me, but guess what? You in the world. So he goes on to say, in the world, you shall have tribulations. So Jesus actually telling you, you're going to have tribulation. What are tribulation? Storms and troubles. Then he said, be of good cheer. That means be confident. I have overcome the world. So Jesus say, in me, you're going to have peace. So brother and sister, when you're in a relationship and the storms come, be at peace. Because the Lord is coming and he's here. He's coming, he's walking on the water, or he's asleep, but he's still awake. Jesus, my brother, and Jesus, my sister, if you're in a relationship, you have the best captain ever. You have the best anchor ever. You do not have to give up hope. How you doing, Sister Sheila? You do not have to give up hope. Welcome to the dinner table, Sister Sheila. You don't have to give up hope. Jesse Jackson said, keep hope alive. How can you keep hope alive when hope was already alive? That's Jesus Christ. What is faith, my brothers? What is faith, my sister? Faith is the evidence of things hoped for. It's evidence of things hoped for, but evidence of things not seen. So when you hope, you don't see it with the physical eye. You don't see Jesus with the physical eye, but you know he exists. What did Jesus tell Thomas? When the other disciples saw Jesus, they told Thomas, we seen the Lord after the crucifixion and the resurrection. They said, we seen the Lord. Thomas, that they call doubting Thomas, that's where we get doubting Thomas from. He said, unless I see those nail prints in his hand and that slash in his side, I won't believe. Jesus heard it, but Thomas didn't know Jesus heard it. He was not, it appeared like Jesus wasn't there. Okay, because when Jesus appeared to them, they was locked up, they were scared, they were fearful, trouble and storm. They thought it was all over. And all of a sudden, Jesus, poof, he appeared. And when Jesus appeared, he basically showed them his hand. They knew it was him. So Thomas was not there. So when they told him, he didn't believe it. So they was again in a locked up room, and all of a sudden, boop, Jesus was there. And when Jesus was there, he direct his word towards Thomas. He said, put your finger. You see, Jesus, I'm going to paraphrase it. Jesus said, okay, I'm here now. You see this? Put your finger here. You see, then Jesus opened up his garment, and Thomas seen that slash in his side. And what Thomas said? Oh my Lord, oh my God. You know what Jesus said? You believe because you see me. But Jesus said, blessed are those that have not seen me, but believe in me. Check that out. Jesus said, blessed are those who have not seen me, but believe. That's faith. You know, some people say, I won't believe it unless I see it. I got to see it. When it comes to man, you could use that. But when it comes to the Lord, it's all about faith. The size of a mustard seed. My brother and sister, those you're in a relationship, you just need that little mustard seed. That's all you need. It may don't get food, my brother. That's right. Thank you, Sister Teresa. It's in Hebrews 11:1. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for. Thank you, Sister Teresa. For faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews 11:1. Hebrews 11:1. Hebrews 11:1. So, my brother and sister, even in your relationship, you got to have faith. Don't have faith, brother, in your wife. Sister, don't have faith in your husband. Those of you that are engaged don't have faith in the person you're engaged to. You have faith in the Lord. You put 100% in the Lord, but you can have a high level of trust in that person you're engaged to or that person you're married to. But you never put 100% into your mate. I trust Cinderella, but not 100%. She trusts me, but not 100%. You know why? Because we got sense. I know she ain't Jesus. She know I'm not Jesus. We only put our 100% in the Lord. She know not to put me on no pedestal. I know not to put her on no pedestal. I love the Lord more than I love my wife. I love the Lord more than anything. Not one person or one thing come before Jesus. And that's how you, brothers and sisters, should be. Even if you got in a relationship, never put your mate in Jesus' place. Now you can give honor to your mate, and you can praise, not pray. Don't bend the knee to your mate. You only bend your knee to the Lord. You never hold your mate up as an idol, but you recognize your mate as the person that God brought you together. If it's a Christian, if it's not a Christian, it is he or she is of the devil. So, my brother and sister, if you're dating someone that's not a Christian, you making up a storm. You in your own laboratory creating a storm when you bring an unbeliever into your life. Don't make your life more difficult than what it's going to already be, because what did Jesus say? In the world, you're going to have tribulation. So, brother and sister, if you're in the Lord, stick with Jesus, you're going to have peace. And always remember this, my brother and sister. Are you in the midst of a storm? Or you enter into the eye of the storm? Do you know what the perfect storm look like? Get your raincoats out, my brother and sister. Get that umbrella out and be prepared. And also have your shades out for the sunshine, because you're going to get both of them in a relationship. Don't be living in fantasy land. Okay? Don't live in fantasy land, my brother and sister, and don't have unrealistic expectation. If you don't live in fantasy land and you don't have unrealistic expectation, when your mate mess up, which he or she going to do, because you're going to mess up, you, my brother, may have to tell your wife, I'm sorry. Sister, you may have to tell your man you sorry. You may shed some tears, but not only will you shed some tears and say, I'm sorry, there are going to be some days where you're going to laugh together. You're going to tell jokes together. You're going to have a good time together. You're going to have that picnic together. Then there may be some time when you in your car and your car break down on the interstate. Be prepared, my brother. Be prepared, my sister. Just remember this. What should you do to save your relationship? Remember Jesus. That's what I'm going to leave you with. Remember Jesus. He could save your relationship. But my brother and sister, he's not going to make you stay together. That's what a whole bunch of people need to understand. Jesus. So, brother, don't be praying to Jesus. Jesus, make my wife stay with me. Sister, don't pray to the Lord and say, make him stay with me. He's not gonna do it. Because Jesus give us what is called a free will. Jesus don't make us Jesus don't make us be in a relationship with him. So what make you think he's gonna make your mate a robot? He's not gonna make your mate a robot. He wants your mate to be willfully invested in a relationship. Now, the man and the woman, they have to willfully stay together. But they know that they need that glue. And what is the glue? Jesus the Christ. I love you, brothers. I love you, sisters. I hope that you all share this good food for the soul with other brothers and sisters, if you don't mind. Those of you that are on the tube and you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification button. Those of you that are on the book, you know, make your comments and do your likes and stuff like that, and just share. You know what I mean? It doesn't cost you anything, okay? To share this good meal with other brothers and sisters, okay? Invite them to the dinner table sometime, because we have plenty of food for the soul, okay? We really do. I love you, brothers. I love you, sisters. I hope that you all have a good night. I know we had a late dinner tonight. I got back in my city a little late tonight, because I work out of town. And my long nights, my brother and sister, is Wednesday and Thursdays. That's why I come on late sometime on Wednesday and Thursday primarily, right? So I want you all to understand that, okay? I love you, brothers. I love you, sister. You all have a good night, and may the Lord bring goodness to you tomorrow, if he tarry, okay? Peace out.